The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Tonight in Houston, Knicks trail for the final 44 minutes of the game. Cat tonight, 17 points, 19 rebounds. But Alperen Şengün for the Rockets was excellent with 25 and 14, scoring 10 in the fourth quarter. And the Rockets tonight beat the Knicks 109-97. Great to have you with us from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pito along with Alan Hahn. So the Knicks trail for just about the entire game. We're watching. I really thought they would come through in crunch time, but as it was, the Rockets outscored the Knicks 9-0 to finish the game, and the Knicks got within one with about 5 minutes to go, but they could never take the lead.
Yeah, and they fought and fought and fought, and fight is definitely the word of the night when it comes to this game. This was, at points you would think, like, it's too early in the season for this, but the Rockets were bringing it. Ime Udoka had his team inspired for this game, warning them about this loaded Knicks team coming in, just smoked Detroit, just beat up on Miami in the second half, letting them know after they lost an overtime game, they were down by as many as 28 points to the Golden State Warriors. He benched Şengün. Şengün showed up in this game. So this was a lot of motivation on the side of the home team. And for the Knicks, they were in for a fight early, and they saw it. And they turned it over early, took care of that. They got out-rebounded early, fixed that in the second half. What they couldn't figure out is how to score in the paint. They had a lot of chances in the paint. They could not finish. They took 19 shots in the paint. I'm sorry. They took 50 shots in the paint. They only made 19 of them. The biggest difference in the game was right there. Outscored in the paint, outscored off the bench. In a battle of a game on the road that the Knicks fought all the way to the end, just did not have enough. And one last thing is the minutes that the starters are playing now. You could see in a physical game like this, the effects in the final minutes. Jalen Brunson missing a bunch of shots late. He played over 40 minutes in this game, the entire second half. Early in the season, asking somebody to play an entire second half, it's tough. And so when the legs aren't there, shots not going down, and the loss for the Knicks in the column.
Campaign didn't play because of a bad hammy. Maybe he could have spelled Brunson a little bit. You mentioned points in the paint. Houston 62, Knicks 38.
Big difference.
And the Rockets outboarded the Knicks 50-39. Let's take a look at the fourth quarter. Again, the Knicks got close, but just could never get over the hump.
Yeah, and they had this thing cut to 1 with 5:28 to go, and you started feeling pretty good about it because, again, the rebounding battle was something all night long, and Şengün really got it going when it comes to that. But I felt like the Knicks just kept fighting, and trying to find ways to get quick baskets, and there's certainly one from Karl Anthony Towns. Speaking of rebounds, he had 19 of them in this game. And Jalen Brunson did all he could with all the physicality that they were playing against him in this game. I mean, real physical game, and he kept attacking. They had no answer for Şengün. He was literally just making layups at some point. A beautiful hockey assist there for Josh Hart and the three-pointer, and it was a three-point game right there at that moment. But here you go. There's the fake, and Thompson, a beautiful fake, and the dunk, and that seemed to open things up, 102-97. And here's the dagger from Green, knocks down that three under a minute to go, 105-97 at that point. But they were making the plays later. They were making the plays earlier. But I'll just say this again, like the Knicks showed a lot of toughness in this game because it was physical. They were getting away with the officiating was letting them play physical. And there was a point in that game, the Knicks went down by 13, and at one point down by 15, where a lot of teams on the road, middle of a long road trip, physical night, forget it, not our night, might let go of the rope. The Knicks seemed like they were kind of ticked off. And they were like, okay, we're going to play like this, we're taking this game from you. And they tried. I saw a team battle to the end. Mistakes were made, yes. Shots were missed that were makeable shots, yes. But the team battled to the end. It showed a toughness that was very familiar to last year's team.
Okay, Alan, let us now bring in Monica McNutt. She helped call the game on the radio, ESPN New York. Monica, what'd you think?
I don't want to oversimplify because I agree with Han. This was a physical basketball game. At some points, I wonder if not for fines, there would be a conversation about the balance or lack thereof of officiating. But 30 bench points to 3 bench points, to me, in a game with this level of physicality and pace. When the Knicks made it a one-point game, I believe you mentioned it, Han, with the 5:15 or I think it was 4:15 mark in that fourth quarter.
5:28.
And then they give up, they give up an 11-5 run. And that, to me, speaks to the fatigue and the wear and tear of this particular ball game. So, unfortunate. Obviously, you were already without Precious Achiuwa. The absence of campaign, I think you feel that tonight. And then, frankly, in terms of looking to your bench for someone that can give you a spark, it has been Deuce McBride. And he finishes this night over. So that is uncharacteristic from him. So this is a tough loss.
Yeah, you could see that right away, especially some of those late shots by Brunson. Normally, ones he makes, clutch situations, falling short. And that's all I was thinking of in those two shots, the three that he missed short, and also the drive that just missed as well. And I said, okay, the legs can't be there. 42 minutes for him, 40 for Bridges, 40 for Anunoby, 38 for Josh Hart. It does speak to something that the Knicks are going to have to address, and they're trying to right now, which is the depth of this team. And then not getting any production out of McBride, a big part of it. But, Monica, how about the beginning of this game and the way the Rockets came out? It was almost similar to the way the Knicks came out against the Pistons, where right from the tip, Houston made it clear this is going to be a brawl, and the officials made it clear we're going to let it play out that way. What was that like to see live?
So I think as this thing unfolds, you think of the highlight plays from some of the young guys, the Jalen Green emphatic dunks, the Amen Thompson pump fake and dunk, the Alperen Sengun double-double. But really, to me, it was Fred VanVleet that set the tone of this ball game as things started. He was willing to get into the paint. He was, frankly, willing to remind you that while he's not necessarily Jalen Brunson, he is a champion in this league, and he's able to use his strength and his size to find his way. He has not been having a terrific start to this season, but in this matchup, I thought he was the person that set the tone early, and the rest of the Rockets follow suit. Yeah,
again, this was a gut check game for this Rockets team early on, especially after what happened to them in Golden State. We talked about it in the pregame, Monica, the matchup of Sengun, who had not been playing well, who got benched against Karl-Anthony Towns. Two guys that got after it on the boards, no question about it, but it felt like Sengun really did control the game, especially late. They had no one that could guard him.
I turned to Tyler at one point, Han and Pito, and I go, this is a reminder that how many of our last MVPs have been international players? Like, there is a pace that Sengun plays with that is Jokic-esque. I'm not going to call him Nikola Jokic. I'm not going that far. But it is Jokic-esque in terms of, there was a play, I think, in the third quarter where he picks the basketball up on a scrum, a frenetic play. The Knicks are trying to get the basketball, trying to come up with a steal, and it's a cool, casual hook shot in a basket for the Rockets. And so I think the poise that he has at such a young age, I totally get why this organization is excited about the Jalen Greens, the Jabari Smiths, and the Alperen Sengun as a core that you hopefully can grow with and move forward.
All right, Monica, they surely were impressive tonight. Thanks. We'll talk to you Wednesday night from Atlanta.
Sounds good.